disorders, food fear. How many people get an eating disorder when they're sick or they start getting sick? We're going to cover that. Also, did you catch the Medical Medium podcast at Apple Podcast? Tattoos. How to keep your health safe. Tattoos. Ink. How to keep your health safe. Really important right there. I know a lot of people have ink. I respect it. I dig it. There's a lot of great artists out there. Incredible, gifted people that are doing all kinds of incredible designs and freehand on people's bodies, body art. I'm not against it. It's not that kind of thing. This isn't an anti-tattoo podcast episode, but it's really important because it's an important podcast episode about tattoos and how to keep your health safe. So it is really important. So I talk about toxic heavy metals. Yes, toxic heavy metals in your tattoo ink and how there is no such thing. And I repeat, there is no such thing as tattoo ink that's metal free. I repeat. So I just hope that gets out there and rings throughout the ether and then leaves this planet and then heads through the solar system and then into the galaxy and then out of the galaxy and into the universe and therefore, because it's important to know, and maybe people on another planet somewhere that are doing all this ink and tattoos and everything else, maybe they'll hear it and that will travel all the way to that planet and get to them. And someone will be sitting there, maybe by a lake, and they're going to hear it, and it's going to be like, there's no such thing as metal-free ink. There is no such thing. I want people to know this. I don't care if it's cruelty-free, animal-free, the whole bit. Listen to this podcast episode. It's not about being afraid of your tattoo or going to get your tattoo removed through the latest technology that they have. It's not about that. In fact, I say in the podcast episode itself, don't remove your tattoos. Don't remove them unless for some reason you can't live with the tattoo and you want to go and you want to get it removed. Well, that's your body, your life. Of course you can. But I recommend out there to people I know, friends and family, do not remove your tattoos. Okay? Because during the process, all this stuff comes out when you do it. So I wanted to talk about that, but I'm not going to because we're talking about food fear. Check it out. Medical Medium Podcast at Apple Podcast. All right. Tattoos. How to protect your health. Okay. Very important. All right. Let's go into it. I'm in Brain Saver, you guys. Good to see you guys. I'm in Brain Saver right now. Here we are. Okay. And I'm in the eating disorders chapter. But there's a section in this eating disorders chapter that's really cool. Really profound information, very helpful for so many people. Maybe you find that this speaks to you. Maybe it doesn't. Let's check this out. Food fear. Let's get into it a little bit. Oftentimes an eating disorder develops because of a symptom. Is that true? Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you got a symptom going on, something in the intestinal tract, something happening there, an eating disorder can develop just from that alone. Okay? This is important. You guys want to know, I'm reading out of Brain Saver right now. If you don't have this book and you didn't read this section here about eating disorders, you're missing out. This book is packed. It's got so much information, really protective information too, including things to avoid, like certain supplementation and everything that causes damage to your health. There's so much information in these books. You guys got to check it out. Seriously, you should get that book if you don't already have it. Go to the library, get it out of the library if you want. Okay, so for instance, if you have a hot spot in your intestinal tract, so if you got a hot spot, if you're inflamed somewhere in your intestinal tract, if you're inflamed somewhere, anywhere in here, and you eat something and it finds its way going down here and it's taking its time and it's going through, right? And it finally gets down to that hot spot and it hits it and now you're nauseous or you got a pain, you're going to think, whoa, it was that food. Food fear develops very easily because of this. This is just one example. I'm going to cut so much into this information. You're going to love it. You are absolutely going to love this information. So if you had a hot spot anywhere in your intestinal tract, if you got a hot spot in your duodenum, say you got a lot of inflammation in your duodenum because you have H. pylori or you have an old infection that's been festering in there for 10 years, 15 years. Say you got all this extra yeast and mold growing in here. you're inflamed because of a virus, or say like a shingles virus creating colitis or something else. Say you got diagnosed with Crohn's, whatever it is that's going on, whatever's happening here, you got a hot spot inside your intestinal tract, and maybe it never went that far and you've never been diagnosed, and you just kind of like you're dealing with certain aches and pains or certain stomach cramps or flatulence or stomach issues or bloating, whatever it is. The food you eat, you'll associate it with those symptoms very quick and easily, regardless of what it is. It could be something really healthy. It could be something really good for you. It could be something like, by the way, these are my juices for today. If you guys can take a look, I got my celery juice right here. If you're not drinking celery juice, you're missing out. And any kind of nonsense you ever hear about celery juice, it's absolute BS. Celery juice, they still can't keep celery in stores. They still can't they can't grow it fast enough. That's how many people are drinking it, getting their lives back. Celery juice is incredible. I told you that so many years, and someday we'll talk about it more. Grapefruit juice, by the way, fresh grapefruits, amazing ones, off beautiful trees, boom, right in there. And I'm finishing some orange juice right there. So those are my juices for today, if you want to see. I have them here because I'm going to be drinking them. I'm thirsty. All right, here we are. Uma, are you on a juice fast? No, I am not. I am not on a juice fast. It may look like I am, but I'm not. But I love to drink, fresh grapefruit juice, fresh orange juice, fresh celery juice. Love to drink those. Incredible. All right, let's get into it a little bit. If you got that hot spot somewhere in here, whatever that may be, or distension or bloating or something, and you eat something and your bloating gets worse, was it the food that just did that? Could it have been? Or was it just it was going to happen? You already have a problem. You're already having bloating problems. Was it the food you ate the day before? You may not even know. Was it the food you ate 3 days before? Is it even the food? Is it even the food? But you know what happens? This gets messed up right here. And it gets messed up quick. That's right, you guys. This gets messed up because this gets messed with. It's so easy to go down a rabbit hole with eating and food when you don't even know why you're even having a symptom or a condition or a problem. And we easily associate a food we have instantly to a problem, right? So if I had some kind of inflammation because I had some strep in my intestinal tract or strep in my colon, and I had some E. coli in my colon, and it's creating all kinds of different pivots and divots inside my colon and intestinal tract. Just say I had that, right? And then I'm eating something or whatever it is, and then I'm not feeling good because that's starting to ache down here or however it is. I'm going to be so messed up in my head. I'm going to be like, I don't know if it was that. Maybe I should just have some toast, some dry toast or something, and scrape off the burnt stuff off the toast and just have that plain. I'm nauseous. I got some pain. It confuses people. Everything does, no matter what it is that they have, going on. And there's people who are suffering from bloating constantly and they want to get rid of that bloating. So they get told to drink celery juice because they hear about it working and saving lives. Then they go and they have some and their bloating's still there. And they're like, oh, it's the celery juice. The celery juice is causing the problem now. It's every day. It's a new thing causing a problem. And we get the food fear. So the food fear just goes crazy in our minds. And rightfully so, because it's that confusing and that difficult to navigate. And so people don't realize the minute you start getting sick, the minute you start getting symptoms, unless you've experienced this, do you know what I'm talking about? It's that intense. Wondering Wishing over there on YouTube. My mind has been messed up with that is for sure. Hard to undo it, especially when you just want to be normal again. You can go down this rabbit hole and down and down it and down it and down it, and it can get really difficult for a lot of people. You don't know what the heck to eat. You just don't know. Like, what do I eat? What's okay? Can I have eggs? Oh, eggs feel okay in me for now. Let's go into that for a little bit, okay? What people don't realize is when you got inflammation in your intestinal tract, we'll start with intestinal tract and bloating and digestion, and I'm going to read a little too. So, over here, Michelle L. Hey, Michelle L. over there. Telling people they have an eating disorder for cutting out food groups is gaslighting. You, oh God, you always make so much good sense, Michelle, and that one right there just hits the nail right on the head. So spot on. All right, let's go into it a little bit. So let's start with the intestinal tract. Anybody who has bloating, constipation, maybe they'll have diarrhea, maybe they have other different issues with their intestinal tract, colon, and so forth, right? And stomach, duodenum, all of it. Okay? Anything that's happening in here, and maybe even a little bit further, we go a little further, the pancreas is slightly inflamed, the liver slightly inflamed, clogged up and stagnant and sluggish, whatever's happening here, and there's an imbalance because there's so many things going on. They might have some E. coli, they might have a little bit of strep in here too. They might have something happening inside their gut that's causing problems. Low HCl, they're not digesting their food. Something's going wrong regardless. Okay, we're inflamed. You eat food and you feel it. You feel the food because you're hot. You got hot spots. You got places that are on fire. A little bit of E. coli here creating an outer pocket. A little bit of strep here creating an inner pocket. You got some different divots and pivots here. You got a little bit of a swelling here. Your ileum is a little bit blocked off because it's inflamed. Your appendix is slightly inflamed down here. You got all these different places, right? All these different hot spots. As the food's moving through you, it's hitting these hot spots, playing with your mind, playing with your brain, playing with your consciousness. And it happens every day to people. You don't know what's right. You don't know what's wrong. You don't know what to eat, how to fix it, what is going on. Even if you've been to doctor, and you haven't found anything. Oh my God, I hear that every day now. It's all in the medical medium books where when people go to doctor looking for help, and now everybody's out there saying, doctor, come here to my health coaching. After you've been to 20 doctors, come to my health coaching now. It's all you hear now out there. And it's like, you check out their thing. It's like, stay away from gluten, stay away from, okay. All right, so let's get into this. These hot spots can create a lot of problems, putting a lot of different pressure and stress on someone's mind and consciousness because you don't know where to go, how to fix it, what's wrong. And so many people are struggling on this level. Problem is, it can get into a situation of PTSD. So every time you put food in your mouth, this can develop into an eating disorder where you're actually getting a PTSD eating disorder, where every time food is entering into your mouth, you're scared. You're afraid now. You're worried. You're worried like, is it going to be okay? Is it going to hurt? I don't feel so good. That food doesn't work for me. And then you'll instantly cast out foods that actually are there to help you heal and recover you. But yet, you might accidentally keep foods that are not helping you, and you keep them in because they feel good in the moment, it seems. So that's where the confusion lies as well. We sit there, we don't know what to eat exactly, and we'll eat a food that seems to settle okay, feel okay, but little do we know that food's feeding a problem, a condition. It's feeding some kind of virus or pathogen. It's adding to a problem. It's putting pressure on your pancreas, more issues to your liver, more sluggishness to your liver, and you don't realize it. And now you're just like, okay, I don't know what's good, what's bad, because then 3 days later, you're eating a food that seems to be comfortable and seems to be working. 3 days later, now you're getting sicker and you don't know what to do. You don't know what it is. And then you're like, well, I better eat something healthier. I better try something healthier. Let me eat a salad. Let me eat some vegetables. And then you're eating some crunchy vegetable. You're chomping on a carrot. That's something that a lot of people go to instantly that aren't eating that healthy and they don't know what to eat. They're like, okay, I better do something good for myself. I better eat something healthy. And they end up chomping on a raw carrot. What happens when they do that, they're chomping on a raw carrot. All this roughage is coming from that hard, kind of like crunchy raw carrot. They send it down the track. They're inflamed in weird little spots, like in their intestinal tract or the bottom of their duodenum. They're inflamed. They got a problem, whether it's H. pylori or strep or E. coli or something else going on, or C. diff or something. And then when the carrots, the crunchy carrots that fibrous carrot starts to head down there. It hits the hot spot, and now they're nauseous. They're nauseous. They're sick. They're like, what's wrong with me? I can't even eat a carrot. I was told carrots are healthy. And now they're all of a sudden scared. They're in fear. Now they're eating butter on toast with an egg. Or they're eating cheese. And they're like, that's the only thing I can eat is a piece of cheese or an egg or a piece of toast. And they end up in that situation where they're pretty much on toast, egg, and cheese diet. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. It's like milk, toast, eggs, and cheese. That's what they end up in. Or rice pudding. That's another one too. Teresa, oh my God, you are talking directly to my mom right now. She's really struggling. This is an important topic. I'm so sorry your mom's struggling right now. My heart pours out to her, by the way. Okay, Teresa? Jewel says, yes, my head got messed up because I was so afraid to eat. And this is a really critical topic because it's happening every day to people, new people every day, people who have already been sick too every single day. Lisa says, this is me over there on IG. I'm so sorry you guys struggled with this along the way. I'm hitting the intestinal tract talk first with this issue, but we're going to go deeper into other places of how it works with your brain, how it works with emotions, how it works with creating the eating disorder, the food fear, because that's what we're talking about here is food fear. And it's food fear developed from not feeling good and getting a symptom, not knowing what to eat, still struggling with that symptom, associating that food with that symptom, and then we're now down a rabbit hole. That's what we're talking about today. So let's go into it. First, I want to take a little sip here. I want to finish some of my orange juice here, if that's okay with you guys. Teresa said this. Teresa said this is exactly my mother. Explanation points. This is wild. You're touching on exactly everything she's going through. It's like you heard our prayers. Listen, and I want to talk about to you something very important. Okay, that you can heal and you can get better and you can recover and get past this. There's a way also to understanding how this works with foods where you're feeling this way and you're afraid and you're having that food fear, but there's a way to come out of it. And just having this knowledge alone is going to help people out there, because once you understand this a little bit, you understand your body, then you understand what's going on, and you could rise above the food fear and the eating disorders that are created and the PTSD that's created from it. It's all important. Catalina over there on IG, this is exactly how I felt for 3 years. Whoa, 3 years. Whoa. Where I'm scared to eat because everything makes me bloated. And then it's scary. And here's what happens on that one. Since we are in the intestinal tract talks, let's go into bloating a little bit. Bloating can come and go at random times. It could be intermittent. Or always there, right? Always there, but worse. Less worse. Still there and always there. Worse. Less worse. Still there and always there. Worse. Worse. Really bad. And then boop, back down to not so bad. Scale 1 to 10. My bloating's 3. Scale 1 to 10. My bloating's 5 today. Whoa, my bloating's a 10 today. Whoop, my bloating's an 11 today. My bloating's like a 2 now. I don't know what did it. Let me eat something. Oh, it's back to here. Well, I ate something and my bloating's down a little bit. Later on at the end of the day, boom, your bloating's up, back to 11, back to 12. Is your head spinning? My head's spinning. That's how hard it is, and that's what people go through right there. Hang on a sec. It's just, I got a celery juice here too, and a grapefruit juice here. And no, this is not a juice fast. All right. I took the celery force, and forgive me, but I talk faster. I have to try to slow it down. I talk faster after I take the celery force. I'm just telling you, okay? After I take this, I talk faster. It can become annoying. Please forgive me. So this is the Vimergy celery force. You guys know I endorse these guys. And I just love this stuff. This stuff, I love. If you got like anything going on, like that you feel, you know, you need to push through, yeah. All right, back to this. Let's go into the bloating thing a little bit. The bloating thing's a tricky one because You can be bloated from something you ate 2 days ago, and then it still has you bloated, and then you eat something that can get rid of your bloat. So you drink or eat something that can get rid of your bloat, but you're now bloated. You're bloated from something else before, days ago, even a week ago, and now you're trying to eat something or take something or drink something that can fix your bloating if you knew to do it long term. If you knew to do it long enough, it could fix it, but you'll never know because you'll never know. You're still bloated. You don't know to do something long term enough. You won't know what to avoid. A lot of people won't know what to avoid, and then we run into a problem. Michelle, haters attacking the way we eat is just sad. Yep, haters are really sad. They are. So a lot of varieties of haters too. Like a lot of varieties of haters. There's different garden varieties of haters. And then there's just evil, sinister haters. And then there's demonically possessed haters that are evil too. And then there's just, there's a whole different ladder of haters, by the way. There's jealous haters. There's haters that want to destroy you. There's haters that want to kill you. There's haters that just want to see you whatever dead. And then there's haters that just, they can't help it. They're just so jealous. They just want to create problems. But there's a lot of haters out there. All right. That's the hater scale. Thank you, Celery Force. Can we... Thank you, Celery Force. We'll do a whole hater scale right here. And we'll run through it really quick. All right. Let's move. So basically the bottom line is, what I see in a lot of people, and plus with the bloating, and it wasn't going to be a bloating talk, but it's good to talk about it a little bit. What happens is that the HCl is so diminished, your gastric glands are so diminished, you have a lot of things growing in here that shouldn't be growing in here. Your liver's stagnant and sluggish, and you're bloating. Okay? It has to be rectified. It has to heal. You have to recover. You have to get the bloating down. Like celery juice is critical for recovering bloat because it's restoring your HCl. It's restoring your gastric glands. It's killing off pathogens, yeast, mold, overgrowth of unproductive fungus. That's important all on its own. It's a medical medium tool. You guys know that tool, and there's a lot of other medical medium tools to get rid of bloating. But the point is that in order, though, to get rid of bloating, one has to understand that they may be eating foods that aren't creating their bloating, but they're going to help you get to the finish line. But what happens with bloating is you may eat a healthy food that's going to help you get to the finish line, but instead you get bloated because you're so hypersensitive that you're going to bloat so easy. You become afraid of that food. You become afraid of 4 ounces of celery juice. You become afraid of papaya, afraid of a steamed potato. You become afraid of a wild blueberry. You become afraid of something, and then you're in this place where you're afraid now of spinach. You're afraid of a leafy green. And when you get to that point of fear and you don't know what to eat, we end up going to comfort foods, foods that we've been eating since we were a child, foods that we've been eating since we were young. And we end up running to like eggs, cheese, and toast again. We end up running back to pasta, macaroni and cheese, eggs, toast. We end up running back to bread. We end up running back to these kinds of foods. Or we end up running back to treats and chocolate and things like that. Because we don't know where to go. We get stressed. We're totally frustrated with our healing process and what's wrong. And we go running for things that aren't going to help us. And it happens every day out there. Mono eating is a miracle, okay? A miracle for people. So I'm going to grab the Cleanse to Heal book right here. All right, so medical medium put mono eating on the map all these years. And it's important to understand how it works, right? When you do like a mono eating where it's like bananas and celery juice or steamed potatoes and celery juice. And if you look, you'll see the different varieties in here. What happens is that you end up building up your HCl You end up healing the environment in your intestinal tract. You end up reducing pathogen loads, and you end up recovering. So many people go to the mono eating and cleanse to heal because it literally saves their life. It saves them from surgeries. I can't tell you how many people that have reached out there in the world and medical meme community that were able to avoid a surgery where their doctor, their surgeon, said you don't have to get 20 inches of your colon cut out. You don't have to get 20 inches of your intestinal tract cut out. And they actually literally save themselves from radical surgical procedures because you're doing the mono cleanse, okay, in cleanse to heal. It's that powerful. And then once you heal a lot of the hot spots in here too, so once you heal a lot of the hot spots, you can add more healing tools. You don't have to be on the mono cleanse forever. A lot of people, they go on the mono cleanse for just a short time and they just correct themselves. They restable themselves. It's incredible. A lot of people go on it longer. See, Casey Shellman says over there on YouTube, Anthony, you suggested mono cleanse to me, and this greatly turned around my food sensitivities. It greatly projected me on my healing journey. Thank you. Casey Shellman, thank you for that comment. What happens is that a lot of people with food sensitivities, the mono cleanse corrects them, starts to restore the person, moves them back out of this. And I'm talking about the mono cleanse because so many people have food fear. And if they have a symptom or condition, anything intestinal tract, anything stomach, anything like that they're suffering and struggling with, it's now a game of PTSD, what do I eat, food fear, and we end up with this eating disorder around all of it, and we're suffering and we're struggling and we don't know how to get out of it. But when you have direction and you know what to do, and you end up doing something like the medical medium mono cleanse, and you choose one that's right for you, just choose the one that you feel will work, because that's the whole thing. You can choose different ones in here. You could try one, try another. And then what happens is, as you're recovering, at least you have a schematic. At least you have a catalyst to actually adhere by, to take you to that finish line where you don't have to be always questioning things like, is this not good? Is this not good? Because you don't have to question something that's literally saved that many lives and healed that many people. The track record, the street cred is already built into this. So it's not like you're going to it like, did anybody ever get better? Oh yeah, millions have with the medical medium books, but the mono cleanses, so many have recovered, avoided surgeries. It's really incredible. See, Muhammad says, can I get this book online anywhere? You can go to Amazon.com US. If you're overseas, you can look for it too in the bookstores. You can go to Barnes & Noble. It's 48% off right now at Amazon.com US. That's Cleanse to Heal. You got the mono cleanses in here. Really, truly life-saving information. So, all right, let's move into some more info. We're talking about intestinal tract, gut health, all of that, hot spots. We're talking about how someone could be like, I can't eat any vegetables. I cannot eat any raw vegetables, AW. I can't eat raw lettuce. I can't eat raw greens. I can't eat anything raw. It hurts my stomach and it doesn't digest. And what they don't realize when they can't eat some raw spinach or they can't eat some raw tomatoes or raw cucumbers, what they don't realize is the cucumber is digesting, the tomato is digesting, the lettuce is digesting. They don't think it's digesting, but it is. But what they're feeling is inflamed nerves attached to the linings of the intestinal tract. So they're feeling inflamed areas along the intestinal tract. They're feeling hot spots is what they're feeling. So as the lettuce is moving through and the tomatoes are moving through and the cucumbers are moving through, it's hitting a hot spot and they're going, I'm not digesting this. I'm not digesting this. I don't think I'm digesting. I can't eat a cucumber ever again. I can't eat a raw cucumber ever again. I can't eat a tomato. I can't eat lettuce ever again. What they don't realize is it's okay to eat the lettuce, it's okay to eat the cucumber, it's okay to eat the tomato, but then they're in fear that it's not okay because they're feeling something. But what they don't realize is they're feeling a hot spot. They're feeling a hot spot somewhere. Whether it's a hot spot where it's just bloat, or it's a hot spot where they're feeling a cramp, or some pressure, or a little bit of pain, or discomfort, or something else. And they're feeling like they're not digesting that raw lettuce. They feel like they're not digesting those tomatoes and cucumbers and that orange they ate or whatever it is. And they're just like, I cannot eat citrus. I cannot ever have citrus. I can never have a cucumber. I can't have a tomato. Ruled out. They ruled that one out. No citrus, no cucumber, no tomato, no cilantro, no spinach, no lettuce, no kale, no mosh, no this, no that. They ruled it all out. Gone. They can't have a raw piece of broccoli ever. You can't have a raw piece of cauliflower anymore. All those are ruled out and gone. So we have this problem where they can't eat anything raw, completely ruled out. So now they're in that zone. Nothing raw. So what that means is they won't even have any raw juice. They won't have raw celery. They won't have raw celery juice, which is different and it works differently. You guys know the whole rules with celery juice. 16 ounces on an empty stomach. Strained. Right? Strained so it can get in there, do its thing, flush, clean the liver, rebuild the hydrochloric acid, get things back to square one. But the point is, all that roughage, they'll never be able to eat a carrot, ruled out, carrot's gone. Raw cabbage in a salad, raw cabbage is gone. Everything, bye. Heirloom tomatoes, gone. So you walk down, red bell peppers, gone. So just suddenly, it's food fear. I can't eat anything. All of these foods are gone. Apple, peaches, nectarines, cherries, berries, gone. Melons, gone. It just disappears. It's out of your diet now. So now you're like, I can only do cooked food or toast or eggs, and I hear eggs are so healthy and blah, 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 and everybody's talking about eggs, so let me go on a whole bunch of eggs. I'll eat 4 or 6 eggs a day because it's the only thing I can eat because it doesn't seem to hurt when I eat an egg. So what they don't realize is they end up losing all these foods that can help them heal, but then because they don't understand and know how to read their hot spots, and they think they're not digesting it whatsoever, and they have food fear towards all these foods, and then they eat an egg and they don't feel anything. No hot spot, no problem, no discomfort. They eat a nice, fluffy, scrambled egg. They eat a nice batch of fluffy egg whites. And it goes down in here. They eat a hard-boiled egg, and it goes down, and it sits in here. And what's happening, what they don't realize is the egg is liquefying. It's turning into a goo, and that goo isn't massaging the intestinal tract. It's not massaging the colon. It's not massaging the stomach. And what's happening is that egg is just turning into a little, like a ball of glue. Forget eggs. That bread is turning into a ball of glue. Forget bread. That cheese is turning into a ball of glue. And it's sitting in there and it feels okay. It feels good. Hey, that bread pasta, basically. That wheat pasta. With the cheese sitting in there like goo. And it's not touching anything. So it's not touching any of the hot spots. You're not getting red flags. No red flag here, no red flag there, no red flag there. But what's happening is the eggs, the dairy products, the cheese, the milk, the butter, all of that that's sitting in here is feeding what's keeping you sick. It's feeding what's keeping you sick. And then you end up with the same symptoms no matter what that come and go. So now it's not like every symptom's gone because you're eating milk, eggs, cheese, and butter and bread, and it's becoming a goo and it's not touching anything inside. It's becoming a goo. It's not hitting any hot spots for the moment, but you stay sick. You end up getting sicker, and then all of a sudden, because everything you're eating's feeding the bad bugs, the bacteria, the unproductive yeast, the unproductive fungus and mold, the viruses, because what you're eating is feeding all of that, you all of a sudden get a spill. You get a spill. A spill over. What that means is it just all blows up. The bacteria proliferated, the viruses got a little too fat and happy, and it spilled over and it blew up, and now you're sick. You're sick. You still got a lot of the cramping, the pain. You're having like a spillover. And that's what's happening. And your food options are getting dwindled down, dwindled down, dwindled down. Can't have any red bell peppers. Can't have any yellow bell peppers. Can't have any orange bell peppers. Can't have any cucumbers. Can't have heirloom tomatoes. You can't have any cherry tomatoes. You can't have any carrots. You can't have any cauliflower or broccoli. You can't have any spinach. You become more buried in food fear and more food fear and food fear. You can't have almonds. You can't have this and this and this and this. And then it just breaks it on down where now you're just like, what the heck? Yep. And your brain's screwed every time you eat. Your brain's screwed every time you eat. And it's so difficult and so hard on so many people. But that's just the intestinal tract business we're talking about here. We're not even going to a lot more. Lyra over there, that's mind-blowing on YouTube. Thank you. And by the way, YouTube, they only give like 10 people YouTube notifications. So if you guys go onto my YouTube, you're going to have to just check to see if anything is new there and look and try to find my YouTube because no one gets notifications. Very few people do. All right. Food fear. Let's cut into this a little bit. I'm in the eating disorder chapter. There's a reason why food fear is in the eating disorder section. So I'm just going to show you. It's here. Eating disorders right here in Brain Saver. Before I was holding up Cleanse to Heal. Okay. New York Times best-selling books right here. I was holding up Cleanse to Heal. Cleanse to Heal has the mono cleanse. It has all kinds of other stuff. It's an incredible book saving lives every day. Most popular health book in the world, hands down. In every single country in the world. It saved so many lives just in the last 5 years, 4 years, and such. It's incredible. It's Brain Saver right here. It's information. It's priceless. And you can get it for whatever the cost of the book is, or go to the library. Go to Amazon.com. It's on sale right now. We're in the eating disorder chapter in Brain Saver. It's so comprehensive. It's got so much vast amounts of information. Let's go into this a little bit. Let's just hit food fear for a couple of minutes, you guys. Bear with me. Oftentimes, an eating disorder develops because of a symptom, and I wanted to bring that back in. You get an ache. You get a pain. What am I doing wrong? What should I do? What can I, whatever. This information will change the world with eating disorders right here in this book, and it already is. A symptom related to not being able to swallow correctly, choking, nausea, pain in the stomach, a feeling of tightness in the throat or tightness in the chest, any kind of tightness of the chest, you guys, any kind of anxiety, any kind of weird feelings or tightness in the chest can bring you to an eating disorder real fast. A food fear real fast. You're eating and you're getting tightness of the chest. You're instantly like, oh my God, is it this food in my hand? It's like food. It's cursed. It's cursed. This food is evil. It's evil. It's cursed. A feeling of tightness in the throat, tightness in the chest, or losing a sense of taste and smell. This is where someone is living their life and they're eating just as anybody else would be eating, and then these symptoms start to develop. You're eating what everybody else is eating. You're living your life. You're getting a symptom, and now the food becomes questionable. This is so powerful. Hey, Melanie, over there on YouTube. Thank you for timestamping so many of those things you do on YouTube when you do the comment and you timestamp it like you do. That's actually really cool, by the way. In some cases, if it's a chronic nausea, for example, then foods become pick and choose, a game of what's going to help ease this nausea. The nausea hell. The nausea hell. Have you been through it before? It torments pregnant women who don't know what to eat. They have a baby developing. The baby developing needs nutrients, the best nutrients. The nausea is like this barrier to getting nutrients to the baby. Because when women become pregnant and they're nauseous all the time, they end up choosing foods that are trying to work with the nausea versus choosing a food that's going to be really good for that early stage of development for the baby. Instead, they're choosing things like anything to break the nausea. They're choosing chocolate loaded with caffeine. That's really bad for the tiny cells that are developing into a fetus. And so what's happening, so they're choosing things that they're trying to calm the nausea down, the morning sickness. So they're just eating gluten-rich toast with butter. They're drinking coffee. Yes, they're eating chocolate. They're just eating pasta and cheese. They're eating chocolate cake. They're just working with the nausea. No judgment, nothing like that. I'm giving you an example of how those early cells of the baby need celery juice. They need sweet potatoes. They need winter squash, kabocha squash. They need beautiful red potatoes. They need blueberries. They need raspberries. They need all of these things. These early cells of the baby that are just developing need all of these foods, but instead, because of the nausea, those foods aren't on the list for a lot of women that get that early nausea with their early pregnancy, and they're just looking for just glue. They're looking for just glue to just kind of calm the nausea down. Okay. In some cases, if someone has chronic nausea just minus the pregnancy, like nausea in general can really rule the roost with food fear, picking choices, suffering and struggling. The nausea is a big one. Foods become pick and choose, a game of what's going to help ease the nausea. Is this going to help ease the nausea today? Is this going to help? Let me try this. Let me try that. No, that doesn't work for me. Oh, I better try some celery juice to ease the nausea. Oh, it's not easing the nausea. Oh, never drink celery juice again. It's a bad idea. It becomes a pick and choose game of what's going to help ease this nausea, what's not helping this nausea. Do any of these foods I'm eating contribute to this nausea? That's what it comes. It becomes literally madness. You're not crazy. Nobody's crazy who's going through this. But it creates a type of madness with the nausea. This is a prime example. Deborah over there, Deborah Lynn Designs. That was me. Nauseous for 6 months. Lost 20 pounds. How come when I'm not eating, I still have the nausea? There's that person. The person that's not even eating and they still have the nausea. And then there's the person who the nausea goes away when they're not eating. So they're not eating and not eating. And then when they pick a food and they get the nausea back, they associate a whiplash to that food. They grab an apple. The apple they eat. Apple goes down the chute. They get the nausea. The apple's poison. There's a mental association to the apple. Throw the apple away. LeBlanc Gita says, I definitely had food fear during pregnancy. I was so scared to eat anything with seasoning. Indeed. Jennifer Gagnon says, can you explain the cause of the nausea? I threw up for 9 months straight. Oh my God. It's really difficult for so many people. I'm so sorry you've gone through that. Do any of the foods I'm eating, are they the reason for my nausea? Are they creating the nausea? Then our mind and our consciousness starts to pick up on patterns and habits because of small bursts of PTSD developing. Did you hear that, you guys? You guys got to have this book. Tell other people about this book. Such a great book. You eat something and you're nauseous, so you identify that food as being the problem, so you learn to avoid that food. Just as you get comfortable eating another food thinking you're safe and good, you get nauseous again. You just got comfortable with that food. You're starting to eat an orange. You're comfortable with that food. It didn't give me nauseousness. Didn't give me nausea yesterday. And now I got nauseousness today because I'm having that orange. Boom. See you later, orange. Gone with the wind, man. You just started getting comfortable with each food, and then you're uncomfortable with that food, so kiss it goodbye. You think you're safe and you think you're good, and then boom, you're not safe anymore. Safeness is gone. So then that's another food you're uncomfortable eating, suspecting it's contributing to the problem. Is that my problem? Is it my problem? This can carry on into other foods as well. Nausea doesn't usually receive a diagnosis because nausea or maybe could maybe be nervousness and anxiety. If everything checks out okay in the abdomen, it's passed off as you're just sensitive. So nausea really is the diagnosis. It doesn't really get a diagnosis, especially if everything checks out okay. If you're somebody with a mystery nausea and everything looks okay and checks out okay, you're sensitive. That's what is told to each person. What's not told to the person is they might have a pathogen stirring the pot. They might have a vagus nerve problem creating a problem. They might have other things too. You might have inflamed nerves, vagus nerves, going around your intestinal tract and so forth, and it's giving you vagal nausea. This mystery nausea can bring about serious eating disorders, even when reaching out for help, even when searching for a doctor or practitioner to help ease the nausea, to help find out why you have the nausea. Every day becomes, what do I eat? Every day becomes, what do I eat? That's where we end up. Very difficult situation for a lot of people. And what time do I eat? What time works for me? Like, what is the best time to eat? Okay. All right. Is it better to eat in the afternoon? Is it better to eat in the evening? Some cases of mysterious nausea make it so someone can barely eat anything at all, even if the cause and the nausea goes away. The eating disorder that arose from it can stick around, you guys. How many people had a nausea problem for a while and it carved out and molded their eating patterns from there on out? Where it molded and carved out an eating disorder from there on out. What's the book's name, Miss Stanford? It is Brain Saver, Medical Medium Brain Saver. Don't miss out on having this information. Make sure you get it. Go to Amazon.com US. By the way, just prepare to get your mind blown. If you're a reader, if you're a connoisseur of powerful information, if you love to read and learn, if you want extensive information, right? If you want piles of information to read that's ahead of time of research and science, then you got it here. Let's go into it a little bit more. Okay. The same goes for mystery swallowing difficulties or mysterious tightness of the chest. If your condition is diagnosed as anxiety, then you will end up with another diagnosis eventually, like an eating disorder diagnosis. And they kind of won't even be able to kind of put it together. Like, they won't realize that you got this tightness in the chest, your vagal nerves, your vagus nerves are having problems, you're inflamed, you're developing in PTSD situation, an eating disorder because of it. And then you get a diagnosis like anxiety, and then the doctor gives you a diagnosis of eating disorder, and you're just like lost. Like, what do I do? You don't even know what to eat. Christelle over there on YouTube, we make linear cause and effect assumptions, especially when something's not right and if it's chronic. It can be a hell of a rabbit hole, totally. And it's so hard to trust anyone else, anything else anymore. Powerful words, by the way. Thank you for writing that comment, because it can be a really difficult road for a lot of people, a rabbit hole and hell for many. Okay, so over there on Facebook, okay, Wahab Tak says, you are speaking my life habits now. I'm thinking a lot about eating. When, what, how much fear, stress. Oh my God, it can be challenging sometimes, and no one understands, even people who experience it. Okay. Even if the audience was agreeable to start with, let's hit that. Okay, this is interesting. Now you have an audience. Family, friends, practitioners, doctors, co-workers. You got an audience. Even if the audience was agreeable to start with, they were worried about your symptoms. They're worried about your thyroid problems, worried about your stomach pain, worried about your nausea, worried about your tightness of the chest, worried about your aches and pains, worried about your fibro diagnosis or whatever else you got. They were worried. They were worried about it while you were searching doctor to doctor to doctor. It can eventually start to feel like a spotlight is on you. I can't eat this. I can't eat that. I might be able to try this. I might be able to try that. And then the family member, the friend, the coworker, whoever it is, they're the audience now. They're like, well, really? Because I'm eating this and this is fine. She's eating this and this is fine. He's eating this and this is fine. They're eating that and that's fine. What's wrong with you? You went to the doctor. Why aren't you fixed yet? Is the doctor going to fix you? What are you eating and how much are you eating? The spotlight's on you. Then the PTSD can start even bigger and bigger and bigger and eventually feel like it's swallowing you up. And you're feeling like you're never understood. Check out Brain Saver, you guys. Check out Cleanse to Heal. You should get both books if you don't have them. Really good books. Take a little bit more, look a little deeper in this. Okay? Regardless of what your symptoms are, regardless of how many doctors you've seen, all eyes are on what you're eating and swallowing now and how much you're eating. Have you ever been there before? All eyes are on how much you're eating, what you're swallowing, what you're chewing. If you have an audience, all eyes are on that. Regardless of how many doctors you went to. You could have went to the best specialist, the best this person, the best GP, the best internist, and now, you got an audience that's worried about how you're eating, especially if you're younger. If you're younger and you're not older and you're a young person, then there's really eyeballs on what you're doing. And if you got a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins and family members, and they all start thinking, you're the one with the tightness of the chest, you're the one with the anxiety, you're the one that doesn't want to eat this, doesn't want to eat that, not sure what to eat here. It's always about a food problem. And you're one of those people. Now you're going to be like up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, right? Your original symptoms don't even matter anymore. It's like, no, I started out with a pain in my chest, the tightness in my chest. I started out and they said it was panic attacks, but then I got tingles and numbness in my arms, and then I got this, and then I got this, now I got fatigue. That doesn't matter anymore. It's all about what you're eating now. Affirmation 65 over there in IG, that was my life, OMG. You got an audience now. You sought out doctors to get help, but that's long been forgotten by the audience. Especially if you're like 21 or 25 years old or 28 years old or 18 years old or younger, or however, maybe in your 30s. But either way, you have an audience now. And now you got like friends, family, friends, coworkers, families, friends, and they're all watching you. And it isn't about your symptoms anymore. It's just about you and your food and how you screwed up. It's you and your food and how you must have an eating disorder now. And maybe your symptoms weren't really real to begin with. Maybe your digestive problems weren't really real. Maybe you're not really sick. You were sick. You got doctors saying you were sick, I guess. But all that's kind of drifting away because it's all about what you're putting in your mouth and your foods and your problems in your foods. And that's compiling and compounding the PTSD, causing now even more rifts, more PTSD. And now you feel like you're really down the rabbit hole and no one understands you and you're misunderstood. Michonne J over there on YouTube, thank you for being here, by the way. You're speaking to me right now. You said, you commented, amazing. Terry Appleman can relate to everything you're describing. Over there on IG, family and friends could never understand. It wasn't until I had to have emergency surgery that they believed me. The focus is all gone. Now it's the focus on you're not eating enough. Are you eating enough? You're eating too much. You're getting too skinny. You're looking sickly. You need to put some meat on your bones. Are you getting enough protein? And you're not eating the right things. Then the fear of eating occurs and intensifies. And that's harder than anyone can understand. And it happens every day out there. There are people there are people that heckle the medical medium community, and they're just trying to put fear and doubt in their minds. Are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough protein? It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And when you're sick and struggling and you don't feel good, it's like the vultures come in, is what they do. The vultures come in. And they just say the rottenest crap, and they don't understand what you've been through. They don't know what your struggles are. They're not in your shoes and at your home. They don't get it. Even if you're diagnosed with a named physical condition right off the bat, it's easy to develop an eating disorder, in part because there's still not a medical understanding of what causes the condition. So it's not getting healed. Somebody with a simple case of heartburn, acid reflux, or for example, can develop an eating disorder because it's always on their mind. Let's hit that a little bit. Well, Blueberry's over there. The protein brainwashing has drove me crazy, and we will have to deal with it for the rest of life. Yeah. That's powerful, by the way. Okay. So I want to go into this part. This is interesting right here, right? Even if it's something like a simple case of heartburn, acid reflux, you guys, for example, it can develop into an eating disorder because it's always on your mind. Because it's here. It's like heartburn. What do I eat? Oh, that bothers me. Oh, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me. That bothers me. A friend I haven't talked to in a long, long time reached out to me and said, I got this heartburn, acid reflux thing. I did all the testing at the doctor. I did all this everything. And it's like I'm scared to eat anything, AW. Scared to eat anything. Anything I eat, I don't know. This was working for me yesterday. It's not working for me today. This might work for me tomorrow, but it didn't when tomorrow came yesterday, and your mind goes, woof, woof, woof. Eating a food that seems to be working gives you a sense of security. Then if it isn't working anymore and the acid reflux or nausea returns, it's like an old friend letting you down. Old friend letting you down. Sometimes it's not about the symptoms. Sometimes experiences when you're eating that food. It's about what they're told about that food. So here's a real brain screw is even if you discover somewhere along the way the right food to eat to heal yourself, some asshole's going to like tell you that it's the wrong food and it's bad for you. I don't know how anybody can heal anymore out there. I just don't know. It's that bad. There's that many sick people and they're just biohacking themselves to death. And everybody's like squealing like pigs, like, do this, do that, buy my program, do this, eat this, do that. And darkness is rampant out there right now. I don't know how people are going to survive in 10 years from now as it gets worse and worse and worse. Yeah, they'll poach things from medical medium information that's healed people along the way, but they'll mix it with crap that won't heal them. I don't know how anybody's going to get better down the road. Natalie says, the sickest and most narcissistic people prey on those trying to better themselves. We live in a sick world. It's overwhelming sometimes. Well spoken. I could not have said that better myself. Dr. Fawn, biohackers are hacking people's health away. Indeed, they're pecking people's health away. Food has an ingrained connection to our physical being, our physical understanding, even if we aren't dealing with ongoing health complaints. If someone is home one evening, gets some kind of chest pain for a minute, and gets on the phone with family and friends, the first thing everyone says is, what did you eat tonight? If that person decides to go to the ER, the doctor asks, what did you eat tonight? The question always comes up. That's how interconnected we are with food in general, and that's how we end up living with food fear like we are. It's so interconnected. It's one of those details that patients first volunteer every time they go into the ER, to the hospital. I ate this and this tonight. I ate this tonight. I ate this. Tara Appleman says, when people try to frame medical medium, yeah, frame, that is the word. Yes. As restrictive and fear-mongering, the only reason I can eat without excruciating pain and fear is because of medical medium information. I was literally starving to death. I couldn't eat. Thank you, Tara. You're the best. I was sitting at home eating my dinner. I had this terrible pain in my stomach, my back, my chest, my lower abdomen. I don't know what, I thought I'd come to the ER. And that's the first thing people divulge, because the reason why they divulge that information is because it's so intertwined to foods and eating and our health and foods and eating. You guys, I could go on all day long with this book. That's how much incredible information is in this book, Brain Saver. Casey Shellman, over there on YouTube. I think sometimes it's jealousy and insecurity about how they eat sometimes. Projecting their fears on what's different, but they see the healing, but they project their fears because they don't want to have to think about healing and health and what to eat. And meaning, like, they think, okay. Everybody thinks about what to eat. I don't care who they are. Everyone. And everyone is worried about their food to some degree, no matter what, because you can't just eat 10 loaves of bread with butter on it. You'll end up with pancreatitis. With a pound of butter. You can't just eat a whole chocolate cake every single night because that's not going to help. You can't do a lot of things you got to be careful with. Lupus Free Celery 333 over there on YouTube. I just read an anti-medical medium post from someone who was on medical medium for 7 years and gained 30 pounds, yet she is posting other supplements and chocolate and saying to be your own health expert and stop with the cult. First of all, you can't even trust if that's a real story, meaning like the story they're trying to frame and paint. There's been an attack on the medical medium community by a group of people. You guys know about the plotters and so forth. There's been a massive attack on the community. A lot of people injured in the community, we know, because a lot of people have told us about their harm stories, how damaged they are and injured they are. And we're actually working on that, working with them and doing something about that, by the way. And there's going to be some people in trouble. Point is that a lot of damage has been done due to framing and lies and so forth, and the attack and a lot of fake comments trying to frame, I've been doing medical medium for years and this is what it did to me. Oh, by the way, check out this supplement from a hater. Check out that also is involved with it all. Or check out this, buy my program because I'm selling a program now. Yeah, whatever. All right, you guys, there's some good information in here. It's really powerful. I could talk about that stuff all day. I don't have the time. I want to talk about the good stuff. Uma says over there on YouTube, has food fear shifter brain shot. I love that brain shot. It's powerful. It's right here in Medical Medium Brain Saver Protocols, and it's in here too, in Brain Saver. You guys, I'll read one little thing for you here, which is really great too. Lupus free with celery 333 on YouTube. True. It's a small account. I felt it was fake. Yeah. And we kind of know who it is, by the way. We know who it is. They set up multiple fake accounts constantly, and they have the same old spiel. Yeah. So, and it's kind of like pathetic and embarrassing if you knew who it was. Nat Hoying says on YouTube, Anthony, don't you agree that patience is necessary for us to have to heal in this journey? It is. It is. Patience is necessary for a lot of things and a lot of healing. It truly is, you guys. Okay. There's a piece of information in here that's so incredible. I can't even get to it right now, but it's here. And when you read this, you'll be blown away. This whole entire eating disorder chapter is just packed, right? I'm just reading a little bit of it in here. It's just incredible. Information is advanced. You guys know it. There it is. Eating disorder chapter. That could be a book on its own. It's that powerful and there's that much information in there. Like, that's how incredible it is. But you get like 6 books, 10 books in a medical medium book. And they're heavy, so look out. So, there you go. For some reason, you guys, if the cover's dirty or something, you can clean the cover off. You know? I use like a handy wipe and it just cleans the cover right off. And the conveyor belt at Amazon, and then, you know, like it's greasy and stuff. So it gets on the books. The books are white. They're brand new books. There are no used books. You know, like if you're ordering a new book, you're ordering a new book, not ordering a used book. And you'll see like the covers get dirty. So I like to clean them anyway. But when you get new books, you order them from Amazon, you get a new medical medium book, and it comes like dirty. If it's too dirty or something, get a new one for free. Do an exchange, call Amazon, get your money back, and order it again. Or you can clean it off or whatever. But Christelle over there, YouTube, they should be careful. What goes around comes around. Winky, winky, winky. You are protected, AW, and will always be protected, and we will always stand by you as well. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to do the best I can to provide you guys with information, okay? So you can make your own decisions on what's going down, okay? So it just takes time and energy, and they've done a lot of interfering with me trying to do, you know, all the work I do for free for the community and for people with chronic illness. It is so ridiculous and sad. Yep. Okay. You guys, I'm going to be dropping a message on Telegram later on tonight. So are you actually connected to my Telegram? You guys following my Telegram page? And I'm also going to be leaving a message, okay, on Inside Scoop, right, which is broadcasting on IG, the broadcast channel on IG, the Medical Media Broadcasting channel, Inside Scoop. So I'm going to leave a message on there, leave a message on Telegram. So make sure you're around, check them out, catch up on other messages. Have you guys been like watching Pride and Prejudice at all? Have you done, you know how I talked about that for a while on Telegram, and I talked all about how healing it is, why it's healing, how demons were kept out of that, you know, because the industry, you know how the movie industry and the TV industry can be really dark, right? like really dark with a lot of possession, all of that stuff. Did I talk about that before? Like people just bring their demons into that stuff, right? And how the film industry can be really dark, and the film industry can be really, really dark. And Pride and Prejudice, okay? Not Pride and Prejudice in general, just the filming of the 1994-1995 Pride and Prejudice I talked about on Telegram, how healing it is for the nervous system. There's a reason why it's healing for the nervous system. So if you need something to watch because you're sensitive, you need something that actually has a frequency that can help heal the nervous system, check that out, okay? Check out my Telegrams that talk about it. I'll do a new Telegram eventually talking about it. Steven Cincy says, love the Telegram messages. Can you explain why people in the Bible live so long? I can't wait to explain that. From SOC, the information is mind-blowing. Your mind will just explode. Will explode. Lupus Reed Celery again, 333. Another comment. Yes, love Pride and Prejudice. I have owned the series 1995 one since it came out on DVD. So you know what I'm talking about. There's a frequency, right? When no one knew that there's this, what happened was, because Spirit of Compassion told me that those demonic forces, darkness, everything was just kept out of that film. Because in the film industry, it's a lot of darkness. Everything was kept out of it. And it's very powerful and heals the nerves. It's incredible. Really incredible. Including angelic forces involved that I talked about on Telegram. I'll do new stuff on it and talk about it. But yeah, you might want to check it out again. Alex Party says, Pride and Prejudice, watch that 6 or 7 times now. Whenever I'm struggling, I watch that and it all lifts. Exactly. Alex, you know. Love P&P? The 1995 version, though, it has to be that one. Colin Firth, it has to be that version right there. Yeah. Very healing for the nerves, very healing for sensitive people. There's angelic forces involved in the filming of that they didn't know about. And the demons were left at the door. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. One you can rely on that can help heal. That's a healing tool. And they didn't know that. They don't know that. They didn't know that was actually a healing tool when they filmed that. It just happened to kick in just right. And angels protected the filming process of the 1995 Pride and Prejudice. And sometimes miracles happen like this. And so the darkness was left at the door. And the angels protected that filming process. And that is a healing tool. A healing tool. All right, you guys. All right. Check out my Telegram. I'm going to leave a message tonight. Love you guys. And, oh yeah, get on my newsletter because I'm making an announcement next week. I'm making an announcement. I'm hoping it's next week. Okay? Get on my newsletter. You're not going to want to miss the announcement. It's important information. Just letting you know. You don't want to miss it. It's going to have some details and stuff. All right.